So, this is one of those videos. Now I'm joking. Hello and welcome back to a brand new vlog. My name is Orion and I post videos every single Wednesday and Sunday at 6 PM. I have to say it's becoming quite normal to grab a cup of tea, sit down in front of this camera and talk to you about what's going on in my life. But for those people who are new to my channel or maybe haven't caught up with the lengthy videos that I've been posting, basically, about 4 months ago, we got decanted from our home because the building was no longer fire safe. And since then, we have been living here in this Airbnb. However, yesterday I received a letter that I've been waiting for months that finally details what is going on with our home and what is going to happen next. It starts out by thanking us for our patience whilst they carry out the fire safety work on the building. And the letter then goes on to say that besides a few snagging items, that they have actually repaired 50% of the communal areas in the building, and they have done about a third of the flats of the property as well. And they are currently moving forward of getting the rest of the flats done, and that they have done a risk assessment and basically determined that residents can start to move back into their homes once their floor is completed. After making this point, they went on to reassure us that the building is structurally sound and that there is no higher risk of a fire actually starting within the building, which is weird because that's exactly how it was 4 months ago when they asked us to move out. So it's kind of strange that even though they've only done 50% of the building so far and a third of the flats in the building, that there's no real change and they're asking us to move back in. I did actually counter argue this about like, it kind of feels like you're forcing us back in because you want to save money, but they just assured us that there's no real reason for us to stay out of the building anymore. But due to all of the repairs that they've made in the building, they've actually changed some of the fire regulations. So we've got currently a waking watch in the building, which is an agency that essentially sits at the bottom of the communal stairs and the top of the communal stairs with foghorns and checks the building like every half an hour to make sure that there's no risk of a fire starting. And if there is a fire, then they go around with foghorns to tell people to evacuate the building. Not only that, but they've changed it so you're no longer to stay put in your flat, but you're actually meant to evacuate the building fully, which kind of seems like a normal thing to do. I'm not entirely sure in what scenario a fire happens it's safer for you to stay within your flat. I don't really understand that, but I'm not a fire safety person, so I don't know anything. And then they made a final point to say that they have installed a full communal area fire system, which in many ways counteracts the whole 24/7 waking watch, so I don't really understand where we're really at with the building. It doesn't really feel like much has changed in the last 4 months. The letter then closed out with a few safety points that they want to address and things that they're going to be doing moving forward, like replacing all entrance doors to be new fire safe doors. Supposedly the front doors that we have now are sufficient enough at stopping a fire, but they still need to replace them. Again, a very confusing point. And then a removal of an extended fire alarm system. I'm not entirely sure what that entails. I didn't really get much more information on that. And then finally, some external work to be done on the exterior of the building. Now, for various reasons, I'm not particularly happy about this. Me and my family are very settled in this Airbnb, albeit a temporary accommodation situation for us right now, and we are kind of living month to month. I would rather stay here until the work is completely finished, and that was an agreement that I verbally made with them when they asked us to decant from our homes and move into an Airbnb. And I did counter argue them and asked them if they were going to honor that agreement, and they basically said no, there's no reason why we can't be back at home once our floor is finished. And I think what they mean by the floor is like to stop a fire from spreading from one floor to another. So if our floor is safe, there's no reason why we can't move back into the flat. But a lot of these points don't really make a lot of sense to me. It seems a little unsettling, and I don't feel too comfortable moving back there, not knowing that it's completely safe. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't actually think, and I never have thought at any point, that the building was going to randomly combust and all of a sudden go up in flames. Like, fires like that don't happen randomly. However, there's nothing stopping a fire occurring and then spreading throughout the building, and then we are in a bit of an issue. Obviously, I kind of have to just take their word for it that the building is safe and that we will be able to evacuate in time. I'm not here shaking my boots about it, but it just seems a bit weird that not much has changed in the last 4 months. Alongside this, I have actually been speaking to other people that live in my block, and a lot of other residents have actually moved out, some of them into brand new houses in like places desirable for us to live, and some of them into just other flats. And it's a bit disheartening for us not to have been offered that opportunity. However, unfortunately, some of these people are either on benefits or, some of these people have unfortunately got like health concerns and stuff like that, and they have used those means to get them out of their homes and into new homes. Whereas for us, we're in this really catch-22 place where we're not eligible for, obviously, for benefits and stuff like that. Me and Jess both have full-time jobs, and there's no real reason, like from a health concerns perspective, to move us out. At the end of the day, I feel very lucky to say so. I do have a roof above my head, but we're in no position really for us to push for a move to a new property, which was kind of hinted at about 4 months ago when this whole thing started. So what is next? After months and months of not really knowing where I'm going to be next month or when we're going to be going back home, I have finally been given a definitive date as to when I am moving out of the Airbnb and back into our home, and that is March 29th. Now, whether that changes or not, I have no idea. Originally, we were meant to move out of this place on the 29th of February, and it's been extended by a month again. So there is a high chance that we could be extended by another month, but it's, from the sounds of it, they're not budging and they want us to move back home. So likely chances are we have got roughly a month and a half now to get ready to move back into our flat. Which, as you guys know, if you've been following along with my videos, we have been doing a lot of DIY around the flat, and I'm considering really going full in on renovating the flat, which I know might be a little bit silly because we've been working on doing stuff already, but I'm considering taking everything out of the bedroom and completely repainting the room and starting fresh. Because now that we know we are going back, I want it to be a nice place to return to. I don't want it to be, you know, haphazardly put together. It was like nice to have these ideas of like, oh, we should put a Calyx unit in the room to separate it and give us a bit more space, and these other little things that we've been doing. But now is like, it's kind of sunk in, it's a reality. We are returning back, so I think it is time that I properly nail down and get the flat sorted. However, before we move back, there's actually a few things wrong with the flat. First and foremost, probably one of the bigger issues is the black mold that we've got around the windows and the window sills themselves not being very good. Someone needs to come out and repair them, and we've had a guy try to come out 4 times now, and every time they try to come out, they just don't let themselves in, even though they've been given the keys to do so. So before we can even think about bringing Benjamin back into the flat, that is a problem that needs to be solved, and it's kind of really annoying because I want that stuff to be done before I begin to paint and decorate myself. I'm reaching the point where I'm tempted to just fix the windows myself and just kind of cover the expense of doing so, but I would rather them fix it, and it's just one of those situations where I'm just sat waiting for someone else to you know, basically get off their ass and get a job done. And then to make matters even worse, I actually received a phone call from BT letting me know that their G-Fast internet, the thing that allows me to work sufficiently from home, has been discontinued throughout the UK. Now, for those people who don't know, I can't get fiber to your door, which is a service that gives you like the 1 GB down, the 1 GB up, like the really fast like city fiber speeds. We can't get that where I live, so the next best thing for us has been a thing called G-Fast Internet, which gave me 250 down and about 50 up. Essentially, it was super fast fiber broadband. And now apparently Openreach are discontinuing that service across all ISPs whilst they install the new city fiber up until 2026. So now I'm stuck in this really awkward position where it's not really safe for me to move back, but in the same respect, like if I do move back, I can't work efficiently anymore from that place. So I'm kind of in this really catch-22 position where I'm like, do I just survive with crappy internet for the next like 2 years, hoping that city fiber comes as soon as possible, or do we potentially look to move out and find somewhere else to stay? All the same, I'm not really in a position to do that right now, so we need to go back and continue work on the flat. And speaking of the flat, if you've made it this far into the video, then please do hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button, but let me know more importantly in the comments down below if you do enjoy the flat DIY vlogs, because there's a lot of stuff left to do in there, and I can continue to film it, but I just don't want to bore you guys with the same kind of content week in, week out. I have got a couple of ideas of things that are going to be completely separate for the flat. Like I'm going to be doing a day in the life soon, which should just be a fun follow along with what we get up to for the day. But I don't want to keep pushing the same thing at you guys if it gets a bit frustrating to watch, and you'd like to see me mix it up a little bit. So again, please do let me know in the comments down below if you are enjoying the content so far, and I will continue to do so. But for now, guys, I am gonna love you and I'm gonna leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I know that these things can be a bit long, and you know, sitting in front of a camera isn't always the most entertaining content in the world, but we have finally had a more definitive update about what is going on in our lives, and so many people have been following along over such a series of videos that I thought it'd be a good time to sit down and let you guys know what's happening next. But as always, it's been Orion. I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, peace, much love. Bye-bye.